Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be doing a middle part bust down leave out. The first thing that I do is part my client's hair in the center. Then I take out hair from both sides of the part and use that as the leave out. To make sure that you're leaving out enough hair to cover the tracks, you can use a tail comb and hold it under the leave out to make sure that it isn't visible. Now I'm going to get started on the braid down. I took out some of my client's edges so that it isn't being pulled on. For the first braid, I part vertically down all the way to the back of my client's head. I also add braiding here to the first braid, being that it's an angle braid and most of the tracks will be sewn on that braid. I continue braiding in this pattern until I reach the end of my client's leave out. Once I reach the back, I just braid straight down. When I'm coming to the end of a braid, I take the ends of the previous braid and pull it up to continue with the braid that I'm doing. This keeps all the braids together. This is how the first half of the braid down came out. I did the same thing to the other side, and for the back I just braided straight down. I will be applying a net to this sewing. I don't think I've shown you guys this on my channel before, but I have my client hold both sides of the net so I can start sewing the perimeter down. Now that there's a net on my client's sewing, I will only be sewing the tracks on the perimeter of her hair. Everything else will be sewn on the net. For the first track, I always start at the top of my client's hair, and for this track, I will be sewing on the braid. I sew the track in this direction so that the hair falls in my client's face once it's all done. You guys can see in this clip that each stitch that I make gets 2 stitches to it. So I go through the track and then I go through the track again before making a knot to hold the track in place. I sew this track directly around to my client's head until I reach by her ear. Now that I've reached the top of the track, I'm gonna bend the track and sew it pretty close to the bend twice so that it holds in place. Now I'm just gonna sew right back down this track until I get to the bottom of my client's head. Now that I'm at the bottom, I place the 2 ends of the tracks together and I'm only sewing on the net now. I always double the first 2 bundles when I'm doing a sewing to ensure that all the tracks fit. Now when I get to the end of the other side, I only sew a single track and then bend it back like I showed you guys previously. This is to avoid the tracks from being bulky. Sometimes if my client has too much bundles, I go back and sew on that same track so that I have space to fit all bundles in. This is how it looks with one bundle in my client's head. For the second bundle, I sewed the same exact way how I showed you guys for the first track. So this is 2 bundles total in my client's hair, and now I'm starting the third track. Being that my client has 4 bundles total, I'm doubling the third bundle as well. Now that I'm getting closer to the top of my client's head, I always sew the tracks up diagonally so that it can fall in my client's face. And when I get to the end of the anchor braid, I will be only sewing a single track on it so that the front isn't bulky. Now that I'm at the top of the sewing, I will be sewing on the braid again. This is how it looks after all tracks have been sewn in. As you guys can see, I sewed really close to the leave out. Sewing with the net on your client's head makes it easier to sew as close to the leave out as possible. That is what the hair looked like before it was styled, and now it's silky straight. These are used bundles, and as you guys can see, it still flows just as nice as if it were new. Just to ensure that my tracks are super flat, I put a bit of wax stick on top of the tracks and just hot comb them down. To style the leave out, I will be using my heat protectant, a hot comb, a pencil flat iron, and a little bit of wax stick. When I'm flat ironing the hair, I always make sure to trace it with a tail comb so that heat transfers through all the hair. I also part the hair in like 5 or 6 parts so that it gets pressed properly. Once I'm done flat ironing the leave out, I always go in with my hot comb if needed to make sure that the roots are straight. These are the finished results. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and comment any questions you guys may have. Thanks for watching.